Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us on this October 31st. So, if you're in the United States watching this, today is Halloween. So, happy Halloween. I am very grateful that you are able to spend some of your precious time with us this evening as we continue to talk about the Dharma. And October's theme related to the Dharma is community. Right. So if you remember the three jewels, right? The third jewel is the Sangha, but we can apply that to our community because we are all a part of our communities. And so, again, I welcome you joining us and spending some of your precious time with us this evening. And so it's a little after 6 o'clock where I am in the Central Time Zone, 6 p.m. here where I am. But why don't we begin with our wonderful, relaxing, and nurturing guided meditation on nurturing your community. So go ahead and just begin by getting into that comfortable position and allowing your body to settle to what feels right for you. You can be sitting up, or perhaps you enjoy lying down while you meditate. That's perfectly fine. Whatever works best. And close your eyes or keep them open with a soft focus, looking downward perhaps just a few feet in front of you. Or if you're laying on your back, maybe you're looking at the ceiling, just very gently, just observing it, whatever you see, if your eyes are open. And breathe in. Pause. And slowly exhale. As you sit there, I invite you to allow that half smile to just rest on your face as well. Allow your spine to lift and your shoulders to soften. And soften your belly as you continue settling in. And breathe in. Pause. And slowly breathe out. And let your breathing return to its natural rhythm. Your comfortable breathing, just its natural cycle. Let's meditate on nurturing your community within you. And let's bring our attention to what we enjoy most about our community that we live in. If you live in the city, maybe it's the tall skyscrapers that you can see out your window. Maybe it's the sounds of children playing, or maybe even dogs barking. Maybe it's the green grass you smell each time you walk outside. Maybe it's people you encounter at your local community center. Or perhaps it's simply your next door neighbor. Whatever it is you find appealing about your community, it is a part of you, and you are a part of it. There is no separation between the two. Breathe in. Pause. And breathe out. We nurture what we love and find comfort in. And we may nurture our community by caring for one another. Saying hello to our neighbors. Sweeping our sidewalks. Or even shopping at your locally owned stores or businesses. Perhaps you volunteer with a local social organization. That is a wonderful way to nurture your community. Breathe in. Pause. Breathe out. Community is made up of people all working together for a common, peaceful existence. And you can cultivate strength and comfort knowing that you are never truly isolated from others. And it's important to our well-being to nurture and strengthen those vital human relationships. Go ahead and begin to open your eyes slowly and reorientate yourselves to your surroundings before moving about. Bringing awareness to where you are, right here, right now. Wonderful. Go ahead and take a moment to just bring yourself back into awareness. Maybe a moment to just reflect upon what community is, or community within yourself, or maybe a moment to think about what nurturing really means to you. Go ahead and think about the community that you currently live in right now. What do you find appealing about your community? What in your community do you think needs improvement? There could be multiple areas or multiple concepts for both of those, right? It's usually not one or two things that we like about our community, and there's usually more than one or two things that, we feel that we can improve upon in our communities. Remember, the Buddha always tells us, the only constant is change, right? Impermanence. But go ahead and think about something else. Think about your neighbors. Do you know your neighbor's first name? Do they know yours? Do they know your first name? Your neighbors are one of the most valuable resources that you can nurture and cultivate in your community, the people who live right next door to you. Getting to know them is an important aspect of nurturing your community. People live in communities, for millennium at this time, right? For security, for companionship. Do you smile and wave, or otherwise greet people that you encounter along your day or throughout your day? Even if it's traveling to work. Maybe you take the train to work and you have to walk a few blocks. Do you acknowledge other people's existence? Or maybe just going out and getting a breakfast at a restaurant, or even a lunch or dinner. Do you acknowledge people that you see? They're part of your community. Or perhaps there's an elderly couple or an individual that you help out. Maybe you live in an area where you get a lot of snow, and you're the one that's out there shoveling their sidewalks or driveway. Or maybe you help them mow their lawn. These are all important aspects of living in a community, looking out for one another, not living in isolation. but becoming engaged with our fellow human beings. That's so important, so vital to our existence. Remember from that guided meditation, the one line that I used: we nurture what we love. Would you believe that many of us don't even know our next door neighbors? Maybe enough to wave to, which is certainly nice. But we can go that extra step and introduce ourselves to our neighbors. The neighborhoods and the communities that are local to us are vital. Who else are we going to turn to in a time of need? If there's an emergency or traumatic event, the police or the fire, may take several minutes to get there, but your neighbor is right next to you. Maybe just right across the street. They may be even the ones who see trouble. So it's important for us to develop that community. And the first step is knowing our neighbors. Again, people will help each other when they feel invested. Think about what you do. If you feel invested in something, that something is important to you, you nurture it, you cultivate it, you help it grow. If they don't know you, nor you not knowing them, would you expect them to help you? Of course, someone will eventually arrive, but it may take time. Somebody will come by to help, but maybe your next door neighbor could be that one person. Maybe you could be that one person that is close to helping someone. That's why that third noble truth is community, or the Sangha, right? I take refuge in the Sangha, and the Sangha takes refuge in me. We can easily translate that or substitute that word Sangha for community. It's so important. I take refuge in my community, and my community takes refuge in me. It's so very important. And think back to the community that you thought of when I first asked you, about that community that you would like to live in. It probably wasn't an isolated community. You didn't imagine yourselves alone on a desert island someplace. You envisioned, a loving, caring, diverse community with people being neighborly, caring about one another, helping each other out. And so what steps are you going to make that community that you envisioned a reality? And I do have some wonderful suggestions for you to try. And the very first suggestion is greet your neighbors. Talk with them. Offer assistance. If you see someone needing help with groceries, help. If they are an elderly couple and they need, or even an elderly individual, and they need some assistance with their lawn care, help them. Or just simply keep an eye out. Maybe you see the mail building up in their mailbox. That would be a sign that something is wrong. Invite them over for a meal. Or if one is standoffish or a little bit grumpy, I'll just keep continuing to greet them. They are indeed suffering greatly and need that sense of community. You can volunteer. There are many places that would love your help. You can volunteer at a homeless shelter. You can volunteer and go to a religious group social meeting. It doesn't even have to be your religion. And in fact, it may even be more rewarding if it's not. That's how we build connections. That's how we build community. So if you're a practicing Buddhist, maybe go to a Muslim community. See what they are like. Go learn. Or maybe, another Christian denomination service. Go see what it's like. We can learn from one another. Maybe you volunteer at an animal shelter. Or even food delivery for elderly or people with disabilities or mobility issues. There are plenty of agencies around that need drivers to deliver meals. It's a great way to help others. Lets people interact and see others that may just need a little bit of companionship as well. Perhaps there's a veterans organization that you can volunteer with. Or perhaps maybe just reading a book at your local library for school children during the days or the afternoons, or even a weekend. A lot of local libraries have story time. If not, maybe you can start one. These are how you develop community, places where people want to stay. Or perhaps maybe you host or teach a class. Maybe you have a cool skill, an artistic skill that you are willing to share with others, to share in your passion. And maybe it's a mindfulness meditation class like we do here. You can certainly share that with someone else. It's a great way. Or maybe you're good at painting or drawing or quilting. Maybe you have a good knack for quilting or crochet or knitting. Scrapbooking class. Scrapbooking is fun. All those little knickknacks and those big binders and everything. Family albums and drawings and items that maybe our young children or grandchildren have made for us. Or maybe cooking. Cooking just simple dishes, perhaps. Maybe, spaghetti or scrambled eggs. Something basic is perfectly fine. Maybe even basic money management, how to balance a checkbook. That's a skill that's important that maybe you have, that you can help somebody else. There are many people out there who have, not strong financial literacy skills. Maybe you can help. Or even just job interviewing skills. Talking to people. How do I interview? How do I answer a question? How do I dress for an interview? Those are great classes that you are able to host and teach. Great way to develop and nurture that community. Or maybe you take a free or even a low-cost class. Some examples could be painting, drawing, right? Some of the ones I mentioned earlier, right? Painting and drawing and quilting, scrapbooking, cooking, basic money management or job interviewing skills. Those are classes that you could take. Those develop community too. Because remember, giving and receiving are important parts of developing community. It's generosity. You are being generous and donating your time, helping someone. Someone is getting your generosity of the time that you are spending. Time is always a valuable asset that people cherish and they remember. Those are wonderful ways to develop and nurture the communities that we live in. So if you remember, October's theme has been dealing with community, right? Community with others, community within ourselves, and then certainly tonight, nurturing our communities. And no matter what your personal views may be, you are in fact a part of a community. And we won't cultivate and nurture our ideal communities without being part of that community. We can't just envision that perfect, idyllic community and then not be engaged to help make that community a reality. So we all must be lovingly engaged. We must water and tend to our communities, just like we would a beautiful garden needs that nurturing. And each one of us, every single person, is that soil in that garden. You are that flower in that garden. You are the gentle rain that nurtures that flower. And you're also the sunlight that makes our community blossom. Again, you are not isolated. You're a part of it, and you're an important part of community. So thank you very much for listening this evening. Some of our upcoming events, our next Dharma talk will be on November 14th, again at 6 o'clock from 6 o'clock p.m. to 6:30. We'll be talking about Dana, right? The Buddhist philosophy of Dana. You're also welcome to join us for any number of our weekly sanghas, our healing and veterans Sangha, New Beginning Sangha, our Rainbow and Teen Sangha. And everything that we do is always free of charge. And you're always welcome to join us. And if you do find value and do like our presentations and our Dharma talks and guided meditations, we do ask, please go ahead and like and subscribe to our channel while you are here. And with that, brothers and sisters, I wish you all an evening of peace, ease, and well-being. Until next time.